nation, and a million faces formed together, made for elevation. I'm a soldier, won't surrender faith. This I can fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak it, believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath when you pry it from my cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping in the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now you are a conqueror.
They can take my heart, they can take my breath when they pry it from my cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Up, 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 up. We're rising up, 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 up. Rising up, 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 up. We're rising up, 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 up. Rising up, 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 up. We're rising up, 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 up. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance. You can't resist us. This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us.
And welcome everyone to another episode of Straight Talk with Joe Villano. I am Joe Villano. I am your host. Let's throw it up there in case you are new to the show. I am your host, your guiding light through all the craziness, and it gets better and better here in the city of Meriden. I honestly don't know if like each department is trying to outdo one another on how crazy and stupid they could be. Because I think right now the Board of Ed and the tax assessor's office probably has a battle going. But I said that this was going to happen. I predicted it because obviously I knew from firsthand experience that all these tax exempt organizations and companies and farms, this is all going to come back to bite us in the ass. I said it about 7 months ago when we started all these revaluations and all these appeals. And now, here it is. All the court cases are starting to come in. But of course, let's get down to the rest of the formalities. Of course, this show only works best when you are involved. So if you want to call in, 203-679-9610. That is the line to the studio. Or you can email us straighttalkjv@gmail.com. And of course, as always, the message board is up and running. So here's what we're going to do today, because I know it's football night. I apologize. I literally just got into the studio a half hour ago because just got back from the Red Sox game, which was a great win for the Red Sox. In case you did not watch it, it was the last home game of the season. So I went out to see that since I haven't been to a game all year. And we won 5-3, which was pretty awesome. Of course, we're going to put our disclaimer down here. Obviously, it is election time, and obviously I am running for state senate, so I will put our disclaimer there. But go Red Sox. we're not going to break 500 this year, but go Red Sox. We on to next year. I'm already thinking about next year. But what I am thinking about right now is what a mess the tax assessor has made of this process of tax exempt stats. I'm going to get comfy in my chair here because so if anyone didn't check the Record Journal back on Tuesday, the front page of the Record Journal was the Fred Koga, and obviously everyone knows the Koga Farms around the city. They own an awful lot of land around the city. Well, Melinda, our great tax assessor, decided to take their tax exempt status away based on it was being a farm. Farms are usually tax exempt because, well, they're farms. And it's been that way for decades. And she decided that this year that they were going to take all tax exempt status away from everybody and make everybody refile. Now, that's normally done for nonprofits every 4 years. Every 4 years, nonprofits like YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, and all those, they have to file for tax exempt status every 4 years with the city. Now, for farms, once you have farm status, you usually don't have to renew it. But for some reason, the tax assessor decided that, well, you might not be using it for what it was originally zoned for as a farm or what it was allocated for. So therefore, without even telling them, she just took their tax exempt status away. And of course, her answer for it is, well, let them sue us. And that is a horrible customer service statement to make. Remember, I think most people don't realize the tax assessor works on behalf of the city, but also works on behalf of the taxpayers. She is not a taxpayer-friendly assessor. But a couple things sparked my interest in this story, though, because some of the things that were done here were done illegally, and it's stuff that we talked about in previous shows. So, for some reason, it just disappeared from me there for a second. I don't know why it did that. Let me just bring that back up. There we go. So, he had his tax exempt status taken away for his 20-acre farm. And so I just want to go through the details on what actually happened here. So he lost the tax exempt status. He found out about it too late. So by the time he could get paperwork in to fight it, to send it to the Board of Assessment Appeals, he was told it was too late and that his case was closed. And his taxes went up $3,800 per year. And the tax assessor put them down as building lots, even though they're all rear lots. Now, again, he appealed to the Board of Assessment Appeals, which I am on, and was told that the matter was closed because he was too late. And here's the part that most people don't realize was illegal. The board did, however, reduce the evaluation by $10,780 to account for an easement. Now, first of all, if it's late, they're not supposed to touch it. They're not supposed to touch it. Now, that was reduced due to the fact that during an illegal meeting between one of the Board of Assessment Appeal members and the tax assessor, decided on their own to sit there and start reducing revals of farms or of easements, which is illegal. the tax assessor, the Board of Assessment Appeals is supposed to be a separate entity altogether from the city. We are made up of citizens who are supposed to be the mediators between the city and the taxpayer. That's our job. And we pride on, or at least we used to. We used to pride ourselves on being an independent board, free of interference from the tax assessor's office. All that went right out the window this year. And if it was up to me, I'd throw everything that was done this year away. Because the Board of Assessment Appeals and the tax assessor's office broke state law this year by allowing one of the board members who works at City Hall during working hours to leave her job that she gets paid for by the taxpayers to go downstairs and sit with the tax assessor and redo assessments. Now, again, multiple things wrong there. One, she has a job to do up in the finance department and purchasing. That's where she should have stayed. The Board of Assessment Appeals, you are not allowed to sit with the tax assessor and make changes to people's assessments. That, again, is illegal. The Board of Assessment Appeals is supposed to be independent. So everything that was done here was illegal. And I hope this is the beginning. I hope this is just the beginning of lawsuits that go towards the tax assessor. Because eventually someone's got to get all this out there. Because apparently, I brought it to the Board of Ethics. And they told me, well, she didn't benefit from it, so therefore there's no ethics complaint. There's nothing they could do. Even though she willingly broke state law, in the eyes of the city of Meriden and the ethics board, she violated no ethical rules by breaking state law willingly, because she never benefited from it. Well, how do we know that? Let's go that route. How do we know that? And what would be a benefit for her? Because apparently people up on the third floor of City Hall is all for what she's doing. They're all for it. Other than the mayor. I know the mayor is a harsh critic of her, as am I. But she didn't stop at just the farms. She got nonprofits. And she even got cemeteries. Because the Walnut over there on, what is that? Colony? Walnut Cemetery lost their tax exempt status. It's a cemetery. Why is it? That shouldn't even be a conversation. This is how radical and crazy she's gotten. She wants to tax everybody, even the dead. She wants to tax. But this is what we've allowed to happen. This is what we have allowed to happen. This is what the people of Meriden voted for. Because no one's stopping her. No one in the council is turning around and saying, no, this isn't right. Someone stop her. All right, we've heard rumblings. We've heard counselors come out and say they don't like her and they think she should be more customer service oriented. But at the end of the day, nobody's doing anything about it. City manager Tim Kuhn, he seems to be, he's ecstatic. He loves her. He praises her as doing a great job. Pissing off a majority of the citizens here is not doing a good job. Wasting taxpayers' money because all these lawsuits have to be defended by the city. That takes resources and time. And last time I checked, we were really short-handed now in the legal department. We're really short-handed in the legal department. Because now our corporate counsel just left, and now you have Chris doing everything. So that means now we're going to have to hire outside counsel to deal with all these lawsuits. And there's many of them. And there's more coming. There's a lot more coming. But nobody at City Hall seems to want to do anything about it. This isn't the first story. We heard about the churches. But again, we as citizens have allowed this stuff to happen. This is what happens when you don't have informed voters voting. But I look all over social media and I hear all these people bitching and complaining that our rents are going up way too high, that this isn't being done, this isn't being done, where we're paying too much money. But with your vote, you have approved of all this. Maybe not us here, but many people out there who just go out there and pull the handle because you want free stuff. And then it comes to bite you in the ass. And that's what's happening here in the city of Meriden. I said it 7 months ago. This is the perfect storm that is going on here in the city of Meriden. This is the perfect storm. Because you have a city who does not care about its taxpayers. You have a tax assessor who has gone off the friggin' deep end and just taken everything away, just screwing the taxpayer left and right. And you got an uninformed voting base that is just getting right in lockstep with the Democrats who are okay with this. It leads to disaster. It leads to what you're seeing now. This isn't like it came out of left field. I've been warning everybody about it, that this is what was coming down the pike. And the chickens have come home to roost. And even their Democratic supporters. And listen, a lot of these people that are getting their tax exempt status away, even the farms, I know are strong Democrats that vote Democrat. But again, they're the small Democrats that really don't like the far left stuff. And the far lefts, the progressives, are now coming after them. Because you're not paying your fair share. You thought that was only going after businesses. You only thought they were going after corporations. No. They're coming after you farmers. They're coming after you nonprofits. Look at my opponent. Look at my opponent. She said it. You think when she doesn't get up to Hartford, she's not going to sit there and be looking to tax the nonprofits? She already said she is. I played the clip for you guys about a month ago. She thinks those the large nonprofits, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, all those in between, they should be paying taxes. So if you have kids that go to any of those organizations, you're going to see higher prices. That is their mindset. And if you know their mindset and you watch what they do over decades now, it's not rocket science. This is what happens. All those people that sit there and scream, oh, they're only going after the rich. They're only going, listen, after a while, you run out of other people's money. You run out of rich people. You run out of rich people, and the only ones you have left are the middle class and the nonprofits. And we're starting to see it. The city of Meriden is desperate for money. You've seen no growth downtown. In fact, you're seeing less growth. You're seeing actually a pullback. You're seeing a decrease in business. You're seeing really no progress in the west side. You got yourselves an Aldi's and a storage unit. And then you have the east side. Research Parkway is starting to rescind. And you're getting decreases in business. The city needs money. And the far left, I'm talking about your Roadies, your Sonia Jelks, your Cortez. They're going to take every dime they can get. And they need people like Melinda, our tax assessor, to do it, to do the dirty work. And she doesn't mind doing the dirty work. So while others like Fontanella, Carabetta, and a couple of others may turn around and say, this assessor's got to go, those in opposition to them are perfectly fine with her. And they're going to make sure she sticks around. No matter how much money it costs you. Because by the time this is all said and done, remember, and I said this back when they were doing the budget, has anyone made a contingency plan to pull all this money that the nonprofits, because here's how it works. The nonprofits, while they're appealing, have to pay the taxes. So the city received the tax money already. Now, if they win, the city has to pay them back everything they paid plus interest. They have to pay interest to them too. And not to come to find out, not to even come in this, whether or not they got to pay the lawyer fees. I have no idea. But the amount of money we're going to have to spend. That's why I kind of like the headline, due diligence or colossal waste of time. It's a colossal waste of time. It's a colossal waste of time. But if they can make any amount of money on it, they're going to be perfectly happy. So I was reading the article and I see the chairman made comments on it. And I disagree. It's not her job to do that. It's not her job to decide whether or not it's making enough money. Because remember, in order to be a farm, it says in order to be a farm, you have to be selling a product to the public. And they do. But they don't do it every year because the soil needs to recoup and they have to refertilize it. All sorts of reasons why. What does she know anything about farming? And if you want to take their tax exempt status away, why don't you go have a conversation with them? And let them explain it to you. Let them provide the paperwork that you need. It's absolutely crazy. And if they needed additional information from an organization, they should just ask for it. Not just rip away their tax exempt status. But these are the people we have allowed to lead our city. So at the end, just like I said it months ago, when all the renters started crying that their rents were going through the roof and they can't afford to be here, it's your own fault. For most of you, it's your own fault. So while some on the Board of Assessment Appeals may disagree with what I'm saying and believe she does have the right to do it, we'll just respectfully disagree with each other. And I think the mayor is exactly right. Reclassification and court challenges are a colossal waste of time and resources for both the tax office and the legal department. And it's not a fight worth having. But she's perfectly happy that way. When you're taking tax exempt status away from cemeteries, you know your city's in trouble. And I believe this city is in trouble. I believe this city is going to be in deep financial trouble over the next 3 to 5 years. Due to these revaluations and these assessments, I said it, like I said, months ago. This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. We are going to see a snowball effect with these revals. And it's going to come up to an increase in foreclosures in the city. It's going to come into eventually people just abandoning their homes because taxes are just too high. Or you're going to see investment companies coming in to eat up all the real estate. And absentee landlords will take over Meriden. And absentee landlords are the worst thing you could have for a city. Especially when you have a city that doesn't enforce its own rules. And the city of Meriden does not enforce their own rules. I was also on the Blight Commission. And I know for a fact, every time the Blight Commission sends things over to the city, they never seem to be handled. At all. And zoning and the housing department does not stay on top of it. For whatever reason it is. Which is why you have some areas of the city that are just deteriorating. And are blighted. But these landlords know there's no repercussions. They have years to go through the process before a fine is even thought of being levied against them. And then they just say, all right, well, we'll do this, this, and this. And that gets them off their back for another 6 months. These landlords know the game. The landlords know exactly what they're doing. But again, all of this, everything you see going on is because you have uninformed people making uninformed decisions and voting for the wrong people. That's basically what it comes down to. And then these people know that. They know there's no repercussions for anything they do. There's absolutely no accountability in this city. There's no accountability for anyone in this city. Employees do as they wish. Look at the Board of Ed. We've been talking about it for again, another 6 months. You can steal from the taxpayers, and nothing will happen to you. You can have years of open work tickets, not doing anything. No one's seeing you. And you just don't worry about it. No one's going to hold you accountable. That's the city we live in, people. That is the city we currently live in. And that's going to be the state if we don't make the right decisions come November. Like I said, you think Melinda's bad? My opponent wants to take that statewide. My opponent is Melinda on crack, on steroids. She wants to take that program statewide. Just take everybody's tax exempt status away. If you have an endowment, no, you're getting taxed. That's crazy. It's craziness. But that's what people like her want. Tax, 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 so we can spend. And like I said, when they run out of rich people's money, which now you're starting to realize that they've run out of rich people's money, so now they're coming for yours. Absolute craziness to me. So, talking about state stuff. So, believe it or not, Connecticut, we talked about it last week, that the Democrats up at the state capitol do not want to have a special session to handle one of the biggest crises that is about to come to face our seniors and our working poor and our low-income families. And that is heating assistance. That is the winter. And we've been talking about how Republicans have actually petitioned to have a special session to handle the upcoming crisis of the winter heating systems. Remember, we have $79 million going right now is the only thing that's allocated for the entire heating assistance program. The entire heating assistance program is made up of $79 million this year, and that's it. We spent $139 million last year. And we had low prices at the beginning of the year. We are starting at high prices this year. And Republicans are saying, hey, let's nip this in the butt now, and let's go and add $121 million to the heating assistance programs. And again, that covers your heating for oil, gas, propane, electric, anything you use to heat your house. These are for our seniors who are on fixed incomes, who need it. And Democrats are saying, absolutely not. We're not even going to talk about this right now. But this comes out today that Democrats are thinking about having a special session. But if you think it's for you, and those of you who are struggling and afraid of how you're going to heat your home this year, no. This isn't about you. They're not going to a special session for you. They're going into special session so they can make sure that all their bonuses are going to get covered for being an essential employee. So they want to make sure they go in there to special session after the election. And they want to do two things. One, they want to increase, they want to extend the gas tax exemption. So they want to extend the 25 cents off per gallon after the election's over, though. Because if you don't vote for them, they're not giving it to you. Make sure you know the timeline's right. Remember, they extended the tax exemption from, I believe it was August to right after the election on November 30th. So the tax comes back on December 1st. So that was a little teaser. That was a little teaser for you. That was, hey, let me pat myself on the back. Look what we're doing. Aren't we great? Look what we're doing for you. Now they're realizing that that's starting to fade away. It's starting to fade away. So they need to get you back on track and back on message. So you need to make sure you come to us Democrats and vote us back in. So now they're saying, okay, we'll go into special session to extend the 25 cents per gallon gas tax, but only after the election. So basically, you have to vote us in first, then we'll go ahead and do it. Why not just do it now? Why not just do it now? If it's not political and you're not holding it over people's heads, why not just do it now? Oh, that's right. Because you need to make sure they're afraid. You need to make sure that you're just giving them little crumbs. Hey, come vote for me, and then we'll give it to you. But if you don't vote for us, you ain't getting crap. Even though, little told secret, you're probably going to get it anyways because Republicans are going to do it. Even though I think the 25 cent gas tax exemption is an absolute joke. If any of you think that you're actually seeing it, you're not. I'll be the first one to tell you that. And I said that when they first put it out there. And I said Republicans and Democrats are pulling an election year stunt by giving you guys this 25 cent gas tax exemption. Because the gas companies and the gas stations are just eating it up. You're just giving them 25 cent more profit. I'm sorry to break it to you. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's a stunt. It was a stunt from the beginning. It's a stunt now. I'm sorry if I burst anybody's bubble here who thought they were getting a good deal. You're not. The gas stations are getting a good deal. The suppliers are getting a good deal. The taxpayers aren't getting anything. You guys got a good deal for one day. For one day, you got it. And then they want to come in and make sure that they fund the pandemic bonuses. So screw heating your house. Screw the fact that you're scared that you're not going to be able to afford to heat your house, or you have to choose between heating and eating. No. We ain't got time for that. We got to make sure that pandemic bonuses are paid out, because our unions, our state unions, need to be bought off. They need to make sure we pay them off. So screw grandma and grandpa. Screw you low-income people. No. We got to take care of our special interest first. We'll get to you guys later on. We'll get to you guys later on if we have time. Maybe December or January, when you're already sitting there sweating and already making plans to not heat your house, or you're opening your stove to heat your house. I remember my aunt used to do that. Used to open up the oven and have the gas going and heat the house that way. Screw grandma and grandpa. We need to take care of our special interests first. That is the liberal way. Which is why they're so dangerous. Which is why people like my opponent cannot be elected. She is the special interest. She runs one of the state's biggest special interests. Who do you think she's going to side with? You think she's going to side with you, or where her bread is buttered? She's going to side with where her bread is buttered, where she makes the money. Because the more money she can get out of the state to her members, the more money she's going to get. Like I always say, follow the money. Whenever you have an issue or you have a question about something, especially in government, follow the money. Republicans need to keep demanding that we have a special session now. You want to take care of the gas tax? You want to take care of your little special interests here? Why don't you do it now? And then we'll add heating assistance to it. Because those in need it now. We had a couple days of cold weather. It's starting to be cold nights. We're going crazy with orders. People are starting now. That means come December, they're going to be ready, and they're going to be needing it, and it's not going to be there. $79 million is going to be nowhere near enough. We will use about $200 million this year. And all those that are saying, well, fuel's going down. It just went up 30 cents yesterday alone. That's what kind of fluctuations there are. Put the party politics away. Put the swords away. Everybody go sit down in special session and take care of this now. Claim your victories if you want. At least those that are in most need are taken care of. But we'll keep you updated on what's going on with that. So, obviously, everyone saw the latest polls. You have Bob Stefanowski. I think they said it's down by 15 now or something like that. Do I believe those polls? Not really. I think those polls, if you look at probably the internals of the polls, I'm sure that it's heavily Democrat sampling. That means they ask more Democrats than Republicans and unaffiliated. That's usually the way these things work. So I take polls for what they are. Do I believe he's behind? Probably. I mean, he hasn't really helped his case with conservatives and Republicans with his stance on gun control, or whether it's boys playing girls in high school sports, which we'll get into in a minute because there's a lawsuit going on that was just moved over to appeals. So again, he hasn't really been helping his case out. But there is one place where I happen to agree with him 110%. And that's his tackling the police accountability bill. Crime, no matter where you are in this state, is going through the roof. And anyone who sits there and starts touting, oh, but it's down. It's down from when? It's down from when? Because right now, it's still up. And it's not only up, but violent crimes are what's up. Carjackings are up. Armed robbery is up. Assault is up. Murder is up. Guns on the street are up. Why? Because you have now successfully handcuffed our police departments from actually doing their job. Because remember, the police accountability bill did a couple things. Excuse me. One, it took away qualifying immunity, which means they are immune from being prosecuted civilly in duties of their job. And when they're doing their job, they are allowed to do things. And that, again, if they make a mistake and they think that, okay, let's say you want to search someone's car, you want to search this, and nothing comes to find out that they were wrong, they're immune from prosecution because their intent was good and they were following their rules. Well, that is no longer implied for them now. They've taken away qualified immunity. So now if they're wrong, they can be civilly sued. Now, again, who pays for that? They're going to have lawyers. That goes on the cities. So that's really a liability for the city. So I don't know why any city official would be for that. And searches. They're not allowed to search your car. If they have probable cause, they're not allowed to search it. You want to talk about getting guns off the street? The city of Meriden used to do a terrific job of getting guns off the street. And under the current circumstances, they're still doing a pretty damn good job. But they could be doing a much better job. If we allow them to let them do their job. But we're not. Because we are now making the criminals the victims. When you make criminals out to be the victims and the police out to be the enemy, what do you think is going to be the outcome of that? You're seeing it all over this country. You're seeing it all over this country. These people know that the police aren't going to sit there and arrest them. The prosecutors aren't going to prosecute them. So it's open season. It's open season on the general public, which is why you're seeing all this craziness, which is why you're seeing the carjackings up. Carjackings are becoming normal. You see stolen cars. You see stolen cars out of people's driveways while they're pumping gas. Happened here in Meriden. Again, we've allowed this to happen. We have allowed all of this to happen. Just like we have allowed the tax assessor by voting in municipals the wrong way, we're letting the state do the same thing because, again, uninformed voters. It's our job to make sure we inform them of what's going on. We can turn this around. We can. But it's up to us to make sure that we're putting the right people in there. Because these are important issues. Crime is not going to go down until we take care of this police accountability bill. Until we fix. Are there some good stuff in it? Yes. Yes, there are some good things in it. Some things I agree with. But there are some things that are absolutely devastating to our police departments and ultimately to our residents and our citizens and taxpayers. And a safe environment and a safe neighborhood is a prosperous neighborhood. But right now across the state, again, you can't deny that things are out of control. On top of the fact that we're losing really good officers, seasoned officers. We have a state police that's well understaffed by over 150 troopers. Police departments are having a hard time recruiting. Who would go into that job? Who would go into that profession? Knowing that no one's got their backs and they're on their own. Nobody's going to go into that profession and do it knowing that. And then you're going to get subpar officers coming in. And then we're going to have bigger problems. I could go on and on. But again, it's up to each and every one of us to stop it, to stop this vicious cycle. And that's by getting the word out, educating people. And talk about education. Go into the right next one. We'll make this real quick. So obviously, everyone remembers we did a story several months ago about here in Connecticut, high school tracks. They had high school track meets, and you had three young ladies file a lawsuit against the Connecticut Association of Schools. And it's officially known as court case Soul versus Connecticut Association of Schools. And Soul is the young lady who was the fastest lit girl in Connecticut. She was the fastest girl in Connecticut. Until they allowed two transgender boys, to race against them. And then she became the third fastest girl in the state. And so three girls and Soul, Smith, and Mitchell. Oh, and one more, Nicolette. Filed a lawsuit to have the two transgender records thrown out. And they did it for a couple of reasons. One, because it's just wrong. And two, because it disallowed them from getting scholarships. Now, granted, both of those other athletes are gone. They already graduated. And I think two of these girls have already graduated. But they said it's unfair. And Title IX, again, I don't know how any feminist group, because I remember back in the day when feminists were all about Title IX. We have to have Title IX. We have to have separate this. We have to have separate that. And they were the biggest proponents of Title IX and allowing women to have their own sports and to make sure that, they have fair play. But I hear crickets from them now. Because for some reason right now, again, I have nothing against transgender people. If that's how you want to live your life, God bless you. I don't care. As long as you're not hurting yourself or others, I don't care how you lead your life. That's on you. But when you start to interfere with other people's lives in a negative way, yes, we have to stop and take notice and say, all right, what the hell is going on here? Is this fair? Now, to have boys going against girls in track is not fair. In any girl sport is not fair. Like I said, you can't go from 126th in the state versus guys and then number one breaking records against girls and tell me that there's not an issue. You're either lying to yourself or you're really that naive. I mean, proof is in the pudding there. And again, for every feminist that doesn't come out and defend these girls and say, no, we want fairness, and just like you started yelling before Title IX, you want fairness, you should be out here supporting these girls. Because again, call me old school, but I don't believe boys should be playing in high school sports with girls. And I don't think a majority of the people in this state believe that that should be the case. In fact, I bet my house on it. But everybody's so afraid to offend somebody. And everyone seems to care about offending the transgender groups, but don't care about offending these poor girls and every girl that participates in high school athletics who might be faced with this someday. Why are one people's feelings more important than the other? Statistics don't lie, and facts don't care about your feelings. Facts and statistics show you in black and white that transgender males have an advantage over biological females when it comes to sports. That's a fact. That is a fact. And again, I have nothing against transgenders. I have nothing against anybody. But when I see those kind of facts, you got to take notice. And something needs to be done. Not only to protect those girls, but to protect the athletics themselves, for the sport itself. And as a state senator, I will be doing that. Because we need to bring fairness back. You know, they all talk about equality and fairness, but these poor girls are not being treated equal, and they are not getting fairness. And this is a growing issue in the country that needs to be addressed. And we got to be willing to have the conversation about it. Now, I know football is going on. I know my Dolphins are playing right now. I don't know the score. I didn't want to look at it. My 3-0 Dolphins, off a huge win in Buffalo, from Buffalo, are playing. I don't even know who they're playing tonight. Bengals. They're playing the Bengals tonight. So I am going to be off to watch that. I'm excited. Okay, we're going to go 4-0 tonight. But we will have, again, a show on Sunday. If you want to help out, we're going to be doing some phone banking this weekend over at headquarters. So if you want to help out, feel free to message me. All the help we can get is greatly appreciated. We need to make sure we educate as many people as we can. So we will be doing phone banking this weekend. We'll be doing, of course, our door knocking this weekend as always. So we got a lot of stuff going on. We only got we only have 40 days left. 40 days to change this state. 40 days to bring some sanity back to this state. Keep it. Also, put it in your calendars. October 17th is the debate with the Record Journal between me and my opponent. So that will be carried live. We'll make sure we carry it live here on all of our social medias, but you can also go to the Record Journal over there on South Broad, and you can watch it live, which I highly suggest you do. So if you want to, you can always PM me for more information on that, and we'll talk about it more as we get closer to it. God bless. Hopefully everybody that you know, friends and family down in Florida, are safe. They just got hit pretty hard. I know my family is safe. They're a little bit more north of Tampa. So, but if you're Fort Myers and south, oh man, did you guys take a whopping? So hopefully everybody's doing good there. We'll have more on that on Sunday. But until then, guys, as always, I love each and every one of you. Again, go out there, educate your friends. Make sure you're educating your circle of influence to make sure they're making the right decisions this year. Make sure we get it all out there. But until Sunday, I love you. God bless you. And of course, as always, God bless this amazing country of ours. I love you guys. I will see you all again on Sunday.
And the million faces formed together, made for elevation. And the soldier won't surrender faith. Is like a fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak and believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath when you pry it from my cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping in the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now